Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. For me, another day of social distancing. I hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well, staying safe. And it is just now 7 a.m. Been up probably since 11:30 p.m. last night. Couldn't sleep at all. Had a really sort of painful night. A brief recap this week. I went into the office for 2 days, Wednesday and Friday, and I did okay when I was there. Had some joint pain in my knees and in my feet, and made it through those days. But I noticed Friday evening things start progressively getting worse, and I just basically went to bed as soon as I could and laid in bed. So I want to say maybe I got 2 hours of sleep before I just couldn't take it and just stayed up, kind of nursed myself and trying to feel better. Was able to make it downstairs this morning, have breakfast, take my medications and everything like I normally do for lupus, and that's all good. I was tempted to, after washing my dishes, just going back to bed. But I have a lot to do in preparation of an exam that I'm taking in a few weeks for towards my career designation. So I got to study for that. And so I said, okay, let me just go ahead and make this vlog and post it, get that done. And I had downloaded a bunch of slides that I have to study to my phone, so at least I can study from my phone today, and if I have to go and lay back down for a while, get some rest, I can even lay down on the couch. I have my pillow down here, so might just do that and try to recoup. One of the things I've been thinking about this week is that I definitely need more comfortable shoes. Wow, is that a dog? What is that? Or a duck? Sorry. Just kind of got distracted by some animal noises. I live close to the woods, so, you hear stuff like that. But anyway, I need more comfortable shoes because if I'm walking on hard floors or on pavement, I notice that's when I experience pain afterwards. When I'm at home and when I'm working from home, pretty much everything is carpeted except for my bathrooms and the kitchen, and I don't have any pain. Generally speaking, I don't experience a lot of pain. So I am going to put into my budget some money towards more comfortable shoes. As I do that, I'm going to research which shoes are the most comfortable. I think I'm leaning towards a brand. I asked some friends about it, asked my coworkers about it, and researching online as to brands that I should look at. Excuse me. I do have orthopedic sneakers that seem to be okay. Not the best, but I'll wear those, and even though it's not the most stylish look, that's fine. But anyway, the purpose of my vlog today is that I wanted to talk about four of my favorite words not in my budget. That's one of the things that just kind of happened organically when it comes to budgeting, is that I budget for everything. And right now my budget is relatively simple. I have 13 bills that I have to pay throughout the month, whether it's the mortgage, electricity, HOA, internet. I don't have cable, but I have a streaming service, and auto insurance, student loan, personal loans. Personal loans and a few other categories, but it's very simple. And then besides that, I have to budget for medications, home security, toiletries, groceries, doc appointments, parking, And that's what I've been doing for, it'll be 2 years in May. That right now, that's my budget. There are a lot of other categories that you can budget for. And if you're in a position to be able to do that, fantastic. On the other end of when I'm debt free, then I'll be able to budget for other things like clothing and restaurants. I don't really want to. Entertainment, like going to the movies and things, and traveling. Those are categories to budget for, but right now I have to keep it really simple. I have to sort of sacrifice those things because I'm trying to dig out of this massive debt, which right now I'm at $64,000. At the beginning of this thing, I was 2 years ago, February, I was at $97,000. And so, keeping it simple is very important, but not in my budget. What I mean by that is I was looking at possibly going to go see a movie last weekend or the weekend before last, and I won't chance going to the movies unless if there's maybe I see there's 2 or 3 people that have bought tickets to the movie that I would go. But even before I did that, I decided to go online and see what the price of a movie ticket was, and I was shocked. It's been probably 5 years since I've been to the movies, and I saw the price of a ticket for like a matinee was $17. And I said, you know what? That's not in my budget. And I'm not going to budget $17 out of my paycheck to go see the movie. So it was easier for me to say no. I'm not going to spend money on a ridiculous price of going to go see the movie because I'm trying to dig out of this debt. I'm trying to build up my baby emergency fund again, which I took a hit this past week. And I'll briefly talk about that. So it's important that I stick to budgeting. It's one thing to get out of debt and to stay out of debt, but having control of my spending and not making dumb choices like I did in the past 20 years is really the thing that's most important to me. I can only imagine, and I don't believe in what ifs, but I can only imagine that if I was 20 years old and I learned how to do this, I would have never, first of all, went into this type of debt, consumer debt, most of it being student loans. I get that. But also just plain consumer debt, spending on clothes and books and things and, things I really didn't need. Moving expenses, all those things, all that's a part of that debt. But if I had learned how to do all these things early on, I would be at the point now that I'll probably be putting more towards savings, investing, being able to really prepare for retirement. But I'm going to have to go through this pain for the next couple of years to pay off this debt. And then I'll be able to build a full emergency fund and to pay off this house, which is an investment for me. Having a home, because if I'm in a position where I have to go into a senior living facility, maybe I'll rent this out. And I'll find a way to keep this home in the family for generations to come. And to have this as an asset and to be able to use it as such and maybe down the road sell it. I don't know. I'm leaning towards having a family trust and put this property in a family trust name so that, generations from now will be able to benefit from this, which would be fantastic. What's the use of me having this home and not being able to utilize it in that way? Not in my budget. So I don't have friends that ask me out anymore. But if a friend says, "Hey, let's go to the beach," let's go drop down and go party. Let's go to the movies. Let's go to this restaurant. Let's go to whatever. I'll say, well, that sounds great, but unfortunately, that's not in my budget. I can't afford to do that. Let's plan for some other time. That has saved me from a lot. As a matter of fact, I think people stop asking me to do things because that's the first thing I say. It's like, I'm sorry, it's not in my budget. And if it's, something that you want in your vocabulary and your arsenal to be able to fight the temptation of spending, go ahead and use that. It's the truth. If it's not in your budget, if you're not budgeting for that thing, it's not in your budget. But anyway, this video is a lot longer than I want it to be. But I'm sorry, before I wrap up, my setback in my emergency fund that happened this week was last weekend, my smoke detectors went off. And it wasn't, the beep, beep, beep where the battery's going low. These are hardwired. And it was actually long beeps. It went off at 85 decibels, I found out. And it went off a few times throughout the day, throughout the evening, throughout the night. I put in a maintenance request and to the property management, and they were going to send somebody out, but then they were like, you may want to call the fire department. And I called the fire department, and they sent the doggone fire truck out here, and 3 guys came and looked around and said, everything looks fine to us, and nothing went off. And so I'm like, okay, well, I reset the thing, and I thought I did everything I needed to do, and I was going to replace them. I saw that the life on them was, they were installed like 6 or 7 years ago. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time to replace these things. And so I was, getting ready to do that. And then I kept hearing I had taken down the 2 fire smoke detectors in the townhome, and I kept hearing a beep still. And I was in bed 11 o'clock on Sunday. Saturday night. And then I went downstairs and went outside to where my water heater is. Sure enough, there's a smoke detector in there. And I'm like, oh man, didn't even know there was one in here. And I took that down, and it was full of ants and all sorts of bugs. I'm like, oh yeah, great, fantastic. That's probably what's causing the doggone issue. And so anyway, I got an electrician to come out and take a look, and he wondered. He was like, why is this in here? That's probably what was setting it off, actually, was the furnace itself. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I was like, does it need to be out there? He was like, no, it doesn't. So he capped that off and installed 2 new detectors inside. And while he was here, I have a ceiling fan that was installed when I first moved in. There was a ceiling fan downstairs, and it wasn't properly installed by the person who did it. It was hooked up to the previous box that holds it. It was a chandelier, so the weight wasn't next to support it properly. And he's like, look, man, this thing is in there dangerously. And I knew that because it was leaning. It didn't seem like it was properly put in there. So I was like, look, okay, let's just go ahead and fix this thing. How much is it going to cost? But anyway, I had to pull from my emergency fund, and needless to say, it's going to take me a little bit longer to get that back up to $5,000. It was I'm not going to say exactly how much it was. It was more than I wanted to dip into to get these things taken care of, but I had to get them taken care of, and I'm glad that it's done. And that's what the emergency fund is for. I'm not going further back into debt. So if it takes me all year to rebuild it, so be it. And then I'll be able to accelerate my debt pay down. But this is the journey that I'm on. Alright, so once again, I apologize for the length of this video. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You know when I post my videos, which is on Saturdays. You can find me at youtube.com/@Chronicles of Ray. Feel free to share with your friends, families, enemies, whatever. I really appreciate you watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Take care.